With the release of Season of the Wish, Bungie decided to hand out some big buffs and big nerfs to various exotic armor pieces. One of the armor pieces that was affected by these buffs was the Celestial Nighthawk, an iconic exotic hunter helmet that ruled Destiny 2 in year 1, but slowly fell off over time. However, with its buff this season, I wanted to put it to the test against other popular hunter exotics. Today, I'm going to go over what got buffed on this exotic, how it compares towards other popular choices for hunters, and whether or not you should be using this exotic. So with that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's dive in. Let's open with what Celestial Nighthawk does and how it got buffed. Celestial Nighthawk is an exotic hunter helmet that turns your golden gun into a one-off super, making it fire one powerful shot instead of several weaker shots. This exotic was the go-to for hunters back in Destiny 2 year 1, but as the game has progressed, this exotic has become power crept by other options that are just simply better. Well, with Season of the Wish, it received a buff to help bring it up to par with other top tier hunter exotics. The buff can be found in the Season of the Wish patch notes in the description below, but for those of you who may not have seen the buffs yet, here's what changed. According to the patch notes, Celestial Nighthawk now grants additional super energy from precision kills, with the energy granted ranging from 1.5% to 4.5% depending on the target killed, and the Celestial Nighthawk golden gun impact damage was increased by 25%. These changes alone have put Celestial Nighthawk into a spot that makes it more useful than ever before, and allows you to use it for multiple purposes other than just boss damage. However, I wanted to put it to the test for boss DPS, as that's what Celestial's main use is in my eyes. So today, I tested it against the best exotic for DPS in the game, which is none other than Star Eater's Scale. So with that being said, let's look into the testing. So let's talk about what I tested and how I tested them. I wanted to test Celestial Nighthawk's damage against Star Eater's damage, so I paired Celestial with the Marksman Golden Gun, as Marksman Golden Gun can hit precision damage, allowing Celestial Nighthawk to do the max amount of damage possible. For Star Eater, I paired it with both Blade Barrage and Marksman Golden Gun. For Blade Barrage, it's pretty well known that Blade Barrage with Star Eater is the highest damage hunter super in the game, so I wanted to put Celestial against it. Regarding the pairing of Star Eater and Marksman Golden Gun, this is a surprisingly good combination, as multiple rapid precision shots with the Marksman Golden Gun will gradually increase the super's damage. And as we know, Star Eater will increase your super's damage when you collect Orbs of Power, with the buff capping out at 4 stacks. For each super, we will be pairing them with Radiant and 3 stacks of the Surge that buffs the super's damage. So for Golden Gun, we will be pairing it with 3 stacks of Kinetic Surge, and for Blade Barrage, we will be pairing it with 3 stacks of Solar Surge. So those are the 3 pairings we will be testing for today's video. As to how I went about testing them, I took all 3 supers to the Ogre boss in the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, as this boss is the best boss to do testing on. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to the results. For the testing, we're going to start off with Celestial Nighthawk. As a reminder, I paired Celestial with Marksman Golden Gun, Radiant, as Radiant does affect damage, and 3 stacks of Kinetic Surge, as Kinetic Surge works alongside Golden Gun. For the damage, I found that it did a total of 466,977 DPS, which is fairly great for a one-off super. For the next super to test, we stayed on Golden Gun but switched to Star Eater's Scale. The external buffs like Radiant and Kinetic Surge stayed the same for this test. With this combo, I was able to do 464,506 damage, which is very close to the damage the Celestial Nighthawk does, making the next test worrying. Speaking of the next test, we have Blade Barrage paired with Star Eater's Scale. The only change regarding external buffs with this test is that we are using Solar Surge instead of Kinetic Surge, as Solar Surge will pair with Blade Barrage. Regarding the damage, I was able to do 472,720 damage, which as you can tell is higher than that of the previous 2. Now, something I do want to note is that the numbers for Blade Barrage did change quite a bit, with some attempts having lower damage. I think the main reason behind this is because I was hitting fewer blades in those attempts. So I do believe I hit most of, if not all of the blades in this attempt. Well, now that we've seen that Star Eater Blade Barrage still outdamages Celestial Nighthawk, is there any way we can buff Celestial Nighthawk? Well, there actually is, and I did put that to the test. So how can we help Celestial Nighthawk? Well, this season we have access to Revitalizing Blast, which will weaken enemies when they are hit with a solar ability. I went about weakening the enemies by throwing a knife at them so that it could proc the mod. So how did this change the testing? Well, unsurprisingly, it did increase the damage. For Celestial Nighthawk, I added Revitalizing Blast alongside the other buffs we applied to the super, and found that it totaled out to 537,024 damage, which is still pretty good. For Star Eater Golden Gun, I paired it with Revitalizing Blast as well, and it came out to 531,942 damage, which still puts it close to Celestial Nighthawk's damage. So because of that could only mean one thing. When pairing Revitalizing Blast with Star Eater Blade Barrage, making sure that every blade got the Revitalizing buff and making sure the blades hits, the damage totaled out to 588,817, which blows Celestial Nighthawk out of the water completely. So what did we learn? Well, despite the buffs, Celestial Nighthawk is still not the best hunter exotic for DPS. The damage you'd be losing by running this exotic is too much for me to recommend running it over Star Eater scales. Not to mention, as I was writing the script for this video, I realized that running the setup to maximize the damage for Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun would only hurt yourself more in the long run, as you'd need to run 3 stacks of kinetic surges to maximize its damage, and the best heavy weapons in the game like Gallahorn, Apex Predator, Cold Comfort, and Cataclysmic are all elemental weapons, which wouldn't be affected by kinetic surges, causing you to lose out on damage in that front. So in the end, keep your Star Eater scales on, because nothing has changed. Now, if you're not looking for the meta loadout, then Celestial Nighthawk can still be a fun exotic to use, especially if you're running a build that is focused on trying to build Golden Gun as fast as possible. So if you're not interested in running the meta loadout, then I'd still try Celestial Nighthawk, as it can still be a very fun exotic to use. Well, that'll wrap it up for today's video. If you found it helpful, then be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more Destiny 2 content dropping weekly. If you have content you would like to see me cover, then be sure to drop a comment below, and I'll be sure to get to it. Other than that, be sure to check out my other social media platforms linked in the description below for additional content from me. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.